For the past 2 years, I've been saying Sean McDermott is not the guy at head coach for the Buffalo Bills. It seems like he's unable to make adjustments in game to really give them that edge that a great head coach would be able to do, like Anarumo and Zach Taylor do in Cincinnati. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, all of those guys can adjust and make it a chess match in game, whereas the Buffalo Bills, it just seems like Josh Allen, have fun, do what you want to do, and then hopefully you make something happen there for us. Well, finally, everyone else in the media after 2 years has caught up to us, because after the Cincinnati Bengals loss, I'm like, I see Colin Cowherd out here like, oh, maybe it's time to move on from Sean McDermott after he spent the last 2 years apologizing while I was actually speaking the truth on the show about who Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills really were. We saw other shows on ESPN talking about Sean McDermott as well. Is it time for a change? We've been saying it's time to go out there and get Ben Johnson or Kevin O'Connell when those guys were available to replace Sean McDermott. And then the defense has been pretty good. Like, they were able to hold down the Broncos. However, it is the Broncos offense. But you had 4 turnovers in the first half.
Yeah.
4 turnovers in the first half. Some of those interceptions were on Josh Allen. One of those is on Gabe Davis, and we'll get to him later. But the Buffalo Bills have not solved anything on offense. We said they were going to be worse this year than they were last year. Said this was going to be the year where they were going to be a wild card or potentially miss the playoffs. And we floated that out there in the offseason where the Bills potentially won't make the playoffs, because now you have the toughest schedule remaining of any NFL team. And going up against a team like the Broncos, that's a team where you really have to go out there and win those games. Talked about the Cincinnati Bengals losing to the Texans. At least they did it in style. At least it was a high-flying, fun game. This was just one of the worst games ever to watch. Josh Allen having interceptions. The first game is a James Cook fumble. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't go out there and get elite running backs to help Josh Allen and run an actual offense instead of, hey, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, how about you guys both run a crossing route? And then you haven't been able to fully implement Dalton Kincaid yet, even though he's been making some pretty big plays for you. It seems like him and Josh Allen are getting on the same page, but Josh Allen seems lost out there. Initially, when he came into the league, I'm like, he looks like Cam Newton mixed with Ben Roethlisberger. Well, nope, he's not even as good as either of those guys, because I can't see him having a 2015 year like Cam Newton did. And then Ben Roethlisberger, with all of his flaws, never looked this bad as Josh Allen has looked. And he did have that Steelers stable organization, but it's a similar situation that Josh Allen has had over the past few years, where you had Dawson Knox, had Gabe Davis, had Stephon Diggs, had Cole Beasley, had an elite defense year in and year out. But ever since that 13 seconds moments, this Bills team hasn't been the same. They just recently had an airing of the grievance meetings, and it was a players only meeting, which usually means that a head coach is about to get the boot. If only someone could have saw this coming.
BRICKYARD wins again.
Yeah, we win again.
Yeah, so this game, the thing that's so frustrating, so let me bang on the Bills for a second. Josh Allen deserves a lot of blame, because since he's entered the league, he has the most turnovers in the NFL. And that includes people like Jameis Winston, like Daniel Jones, and like all these other guys
Zach Wilson,
who are turnover prone, Zach Wilson as well. You've led the league in turnovers for the last 6 years. That's not necessarily something you want to lead the league in. So Josh Allen deserves some blame here. But another person that deserves blame, and he's going to get my grievance here, because I don't understand the hype behind this guy. I get that he had one good game against the Chiefs in the playoffs. He had 4 touchdowns. But Gabe Davis is not a number 2. He's not a number 2. And his contract is up this year. Get him out of here. Send him to Chuck E. Cheese. Send him to Pizza Hut. Send him to name another place. I don't give a shit. Get him out of here.
Make him the security guard at Freddy's.
Yeah, seriously. He's going to go to Carolina. They're going to think he's going to solve their wide receiver issues. He's not. Gabe Davis sucks. I'm sorry. I understand that he can catch a 50-yard bomb when he's wide open, but he's not good. He catches half of his balls if he's lucky. And in this game, he had 2 catches on 7 targets. That's a pretty awful catch rate at this point. I know what you're saying. Oh, well, the defense, that's awesome. At the same time, the ball hit his hands, and it was an interception. One of those picks was not Josh Allen's fault at that point. But Gabe Davis, not good. I get you have Stephon Diggs, but Stephon Diggs You read the tea leaves. He's miserable in Buffalo, and I don't blame him. It's cold there. It's miserable. Their fans are on crack. I get it. I get why Stephon Diggs is angry, and he's probably out after this season. It's well documented. And then Sean McDermott, a.k.a. the sad Bill Burr at this point. Tell me a time where he's been outcoached, because he got outcoached in this game by Sean Payton, and he's been outcoached by Zach Taylor. He's been outcoached by Andy Reid. He's been outcoached by Bill Belichick, dare I say, in the early parts. He's been outcoached by
this year.
Even this year. He's been
lost to the Patriots.
Yeah. And then let's talk about this game here, because the Broncos, who have been frequent members of the worst top 5 list, and I know it's been a couple of weeks, I should remind you, the most confidential, the most accurate form of information, top 5s that you'll see, top and bottom teams. And the Broncos have been weekly contestants on the top and bottom 5 teams. And they were begging you. They said, please, Buffalo, take this win. We don't want it. We don't want to win this game.
No.
The average field position for the Broncos were on the 45-yard line, which, by the way, in case you don't know, is an immaculate field position. And of that, guess what? They got 6 points from that in those field plays. And on those 4 turnovers, it equaled 6 points. That's how much they didn't want to win this game. And you'll look at the stat line. Oh, Russell Wilson played a great game, and he showed flashes in this game. But the Broncos were begging. They said, please, I don't want to win this game. We really don't. And even the refs gave some calls to the Bills at the end of it. But the Bills, the best part of it all is the end of it. This signifies everything about the Bills this year. Will Lutz kicks a field goal, 41-yarder, misses it. But there was 12 players on the field for the Bills. So not only do they move it up, but they get another opportunity to kick the field goal. And guess what? They lost the game. What the hell is happening in Buffalo? It is an absolute disaster. I don't know if maybe they're cold. I don't know what's going on in Buffalo, but what an absolute train wreck of an organization right now that seems to be kind of blowing things up. You have Josh Allen. He's getting paid, but he needs another wide receiver too. He needs a coach that's competent, because let's be honest, Sean McDermott, not a good head coach at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe he goes somewhere else and he could be the defensive coordinator, but I don't know.
I don't know.